in the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall continue to study from the book of Ecclesiastes. So far, we went through 5 classes. We spent most of the time talking about why the world is vanity. We have to do that because in the book of Ecclesiastes, 90% of the content is how Solomon continuously expressed how and why life is so dreadful that living itself is an unbearable burden. Okay, so majority of the content in the book of Ecclesiastes is actually very gloomy. It's actually very gloomy, very sad, and express a lot of hopelessness. Okay, but there's a reason. There's a reason why King Solomon. Most of the content in the reflection of his life. So remember that Ecclesiastes is very much his self-evaluation of his life. Like he was doing, he was like a professor, a grad student. He was doing a thesis of self-analyzation. Okay? Again, I never feel this is a book of repentance. Okay? I never feel Solomon repent. I mean, at least it's not in this book. I feel that this is more like an analytical project. He was in his intellectually, take out his life, analyze it, dissect it, and then he presented in front of you the pro, the con, the mistake, the error, and then conclude with the solution of the project. So for me, there's no much private emotion, personal involved. For him, it's more like I am analyzing myself for you to see. Okay, so upon his analyzation, that we found that the way that he analyzed his life, then you found that 90% he realized is a waste of time. Okay? So again, a lot of content that was involved has no absolute right and wrong. Okay? But a lot of them are just, this is how life is, like it or not. Okay? So we spent 5 classes talking about why in the perspective of Solomon that life is meaningless. But remember that the whole concept of the book of Ecclesiastes is not about vanity. It's how can you live a life that's not so boring, that's not so meaningless, that's not so useless. Solomon wants to ask you to give a try. He only tried halfway. Okay? Solomon only got to halfway. He never finished the experiment. And then he wants you to take on the remaining, and perhaps you can take a different path. Okay? So as we said earlier, there are 3 sections: the evil under the sun, the blessing under the sun. Okay, so Solomon was able to cover both. Okay, he was able to see and tell you why life is meaningless. We spent so many classes about this. Okay, about this. Solomon also covered this part. In his life, he was able to find meaning to a certain extent under the sun. Okay, so this is the part that we will touch for in the morning class. And then the third is above the sun. This is the part that Solomon failed. He was unable to obtain a higher purpose and greater meaning. He knew, but it was too late. Okay? So, knowledge-wise, intellectually, he knew that there is a higher meaning. But he was made aware of that higher purpose only until he was old and too late. Okay, let me repeat myself. Ideally, intellectually, knowledge-wise, he knew this since young by looking at his father. Okay? By looking at his father, he knew that God dominates over the kingdom of man. He knew that the law is the law of his father that guide him, protect him for the entirety of David's life. He knew. Intellectually, he knew all this. Rationally, he knew you should have God, involve God in your life. He knew. And when he was young, he was God-fearing. And God revealed to him. The Bible told us that's why God was so angry with Solomon. Because he was not ignorant. God revealed to Solomon twice. God grants Solomon wisdom and all the blessing. So not only he knew from his father, but he also personally experienced God. But then he walked away. Okay, so he knew, but he did not take that seriously. That's why God was so angry with him. He does whatever he wants until when he realized that everything that he pursued after, everything that he desired, everything that he acquired, tried to fulfill his life. At the end, he found that those are useless, but it was too late. Because that was toward the end of his journey. Okay? So basically, Solomon is giving you, the younger generation, a warning. Do not wait until it is too late. That's the whole idea. The whole idea is, if you want to do something, do it early, while you still have the chance. If you want to live a worthy life, you do it early, while you still can. Do not wait until, you know what, one day I will be fervent. When I retire, I will do holy work. I will love God when I am old. All those statements are basically junk, in my opinion. All those statements are nothing but excuse and basically junk. Yeah. But anyway, all right. So now we spend enough time talking about. Sorry. Okay. Nothing is sorry. NYTS operation communication. Yeah, I just want to make sure it's nothing related to me. Well, so you know what? So we talk a lot. We spend a lot of time talking about this part already. Okay? Now we want to take one step further. Okay? Solomon wants to talk about, no, but even under the sun. Under the sun means in the human world. This is more about spiritual. Okay? Above, spiritual, eternal. Okay? This one you know very well. But even in between, there are blessings under the sun in human life that they are blessing that Solomon recommend that you should go after. Okay? So let's look at this. Let's try to find what are the blessings under the sun. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Chapter 2, in verse 24. Verse 24. Nothing is better for a man than that he shall eat and drink, and that his soul shall enjoy good in his labor. Okay? You find this repetitively in the Ecclesiastes. Eat and drink. Okay? According to Solomon, number one, the real blessing. The real blessing is you are able to eat and drink. And you might think to yourself, what kind of blessing is this? Everybody eat, everybody drink. Okay? It's not about eating and drinking. It's what you eat, what you drink. Okay? So you know what? People in the world, probably you probably saw it from like Instagram, like YouTube, like whatever. Like you have those YouTubers try to show you the so-called lavish life. And that yesterday, right? The world is trying to brainwash you. Keep on telling you that's what you should go after. That's what you should go after. That's the that's called success. That's the life. You know, the world is trying to brainwash you and say, yes, it's not about eating and drinking. It's about what you eat and what you drink. Yesterday, I asked you, have you ever tried one meal for $8,000? No, right? If you do that, your parents will kill you for sure. Yeah. I never tried that myself. My boss told me. I mean, he went on a meal like 8,000 per person in Ginza in Tokyo. Okay. I mean, he was just telling me that he was there. My boss was there, and they one of the big company CEO took him to Ginza in a restaurant. He told me that it was in one of those skyscraper, like those are high-rise building. And the thing is, he said, the interesting thing is, when you take the elevator, when you get to certain level, certain floor, you open the elevator, open the door, you walk out, and you will be amazed, you will be in shock because you thought that you are in an open field in Tokyo. It's like a park. It's like a forest, like a park. You have like the real grass, floating river. You have like bird chirping. Like, you know, that you feel that you are walking in the real field. And yeah, it costs $8,000 per person. And the only reason my boss told me this is that after the meal, he still feel very hungry. Because they only serve you like tiny bit of everything. 13 courses of tiny stuff. And my boss was very big. Right? My boss was he just told me that, 吃完好饿，就到楼下去吃卤肉饭。He said that he went downstairs and have like a pork rice. It's a big one. Yeah, my boss is really, really into eating. Yeah. So when I was working, every time when I go on business trip, my boss told me, don't worry about clients. Don't worry about business deal. You go, you fly in, you check into your hotel, then you go to the front counter. You ask the front counter, where is the most famous, the most expensive restaurant around this area? You go, you try, you order the most expensive thing, and then you come back and tell me if it's good. Yeah, that's my job. So basically, visiting client, I don't need to write report. Forming business deal, I don't need to write report. I have to write report about the restaurant I visit. Yeah, because that's the only thing he cares. So I never tried $8,000 per person, but I did try $800 per person. That was in Chicago, in one of those, the tower thing, the thing that spin. And let me tell you, it's not even good. I was just like, you know what, I can cook better than this. No, it's the location. I think they charge for the location. There was once, one of my colleagues, he came back from a conference in Las Vegas. And then he just said, you know what, I think I'm in trouble. I was like, what happened? And then he showed me a receipt. He invited a client for a meal. It cost $13,000. $3,000. I was like, are you crazy? He's like, I don't know. I just opened a bottle of wine. And I look at the price. And I mean, the meal is only like $400, $500 a person. That's nothing, right? So the meal is nothing. It's that bottle of wine. And I look at it, you are so dead. You are so dead. He said, do you think the boss will let me claim this? I said, I don't know, but yeah, you are dead. You know, this world, they charge anything. He told me that they put those are gold flares. Those are gold flares inside. So when you drink, you're actually drinking real gold. And I was like, any taste? He said, I didn't know. I was like, did you taste the gold? Like, because like every cup is like 2,000 right there. He said, I didn't know. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, he got fired. Yeah. But you know what? This world, yeah, there are a lot of interesting lavishment that the world will keep on, especially the young people. Maybe just by listening what I say about my career life, you're like, oh, I wish, oh, I hope. Yeah, that's not the point. The point is, maybe it gets you excited at first, but then you realize all those redundance. At the end, you're just like, you know, what's the point? What's the point? You know, when I first graduate, when I first got my job, when I start working, business trip, I was just like, you know, company credit card. You just, you know, just like in the movie, right? That you just get your suitcase, dress up, get your suitcase, go to the airport, and then you just toast your credit card and say, get me on the next flight, you know. Yeah. And then you hop on the next flight, you fly in, you go to the car rental, say, get me a rental car, yeah. And then you check into the hotel. Like you know that you're like, oh wow, like you know that a dream come true. At first, I love traveling because company pay for everything. Like for me, because of the nature of my job, I have no upper cap. I have no upper cap. Okay. At first, it's exciting, and it's just like, I'll fly, hotel, rental car. The boss doesn't care what kind of car that we rent. Yeah, because you know, for them, everything is tax write-off. If you don't spend, the government takes it. It's tax write-off anyway, so he doesn't care. Yeah, but the thing is, after a while, you know, that to the point that every time when I step into the hotel room, I feel like to vomit. Sick of airplanes, sick of hotel. I'm okay with a rental car. Depends on what car it is. Yeah. But you know what? There's no, in the beginning, it's exciting. In the beginning, you're like, wow, this is success. But after a while, you're like, this is sick. I told my boss, if you keep on sending me on business trip like this, I'm going to leave the job. I'm going to quit. I just want to stay home, okay? You get really tired. And, you know, that's what Solomon say. There are things in life that make you feel exciting, but only for that short period of time. And very soon you get tired of it, you get sick of it. So after that, I told my boss, I only go on the business trip to the place I want to go. Okay? I get to choose. You don't get to send me, I get to choose. Germany? Yeah, I've never been there. But yeah. I was in Germany for a week, in Stuttgart for the exhibition, and the boss is like, "Where were you?" I went to check out because the headquarters of all the race car, Porsche, BMW, they are all in Stuttgart. So in the morning, I disappear. I just go check out the cars and check out their headquarters. Yeah, I mean for me that's fun. That's fun. But let me tell you that if you keep on going to the same place over and over, you keep on doing the same thing, fly, hotel, rental car, fly, hotel, you get really sick of it. It might sound exciting because you don't have it. But this is the things with the world. When you don't have it, everything seems so exciting. But once you have it, it just, you know, it wears off very, very fast, faster than you thought. Okay? So you know what? Many times we think that eating and drink Okay, I need to eat in high-end restaurant. That's why I don't know about you. A lot of times when I look on the Facebook of the young people, they want to let the whole world know how much I spend, what kind of place I went, what kind of food that I ate. Because people care not about eat and drink. People care about what level, right? This is what the world tries to tell you. You want to be upper scale, upper class. You need to let people know one meal I spent how much. But you know what, Solomon at the end, I don't know why. We don't know. The Bible never mentioned anything about the health status of Solomon. But I don't think it's very good. I personally look at the way that he used his life. Look at the way that he eat and drink. You know what? Maybe by this time, when he wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, who knows? High cholesterol, high blood pressure, high everything. Like, you know what? Maybe 那个叫什么 gout 痛风 gout. Like if you eat seafood and then and then you're like limping in pain. You know what? Maybe at this time that Solomon, he can afford it, but he cannot eat it. Okay? Like I know that nowadays in your generation, more and more people, you are troubled by allergy. You know that honestly speaking, when I was young, I never knew a single person with allergy. Not a single person. We never heard of it when we were young. So when we were young in the SSC, we never need to pay attention because we never heard anyone with allergy. But nowadays, probably, I don't know, from the pollution of the world, from the food, from the chemical that we build in our body, not talking about you, maybe your parents, like we accumulate all the chemical in our body. So when we give birth to the younger generation, to the next generation, they were born with allergies. Yeah, we don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but you know what? You found that there are people with allergy. There are things that they want to eat, they just cannot, right? They eat, they go to the hospital, right? So you know what? At the end, we don't know what happened to Solomon at this time, but Solomon tell you, able to freely eat and able to comfortably drink itself is the greatest blessing. Because you see that a lot of old people with all those issues in body, you see it, you want it, you can afford it, but you cannot eat it. Let's take a look at chapter 6. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 2. A man to whom God has given riches and wealth and honor so that he lacks nothing for himself to all he desires, yet God does not give him power to eat of it. I don't know if he was talking about himself. I don't know if Solomon was talking about himself, but there's a possibility he was talking about himself. I am wealthy. I got the money. I am the powerful man. I get whatever I desire, but I cannot eat. I eat, I get allergy. I eat, I get gout. I eat, my body collapse. Just because you want to eat doesn't mean that you get to eat. So for Solomon, freely able to enjoy food, all the freedom of life. Able to enjoy the freedom itself, you should give thanks. Because not everyone can do that. So according to Solomon, you are able to eat and drink itself, you should give thanks to God. Because maybe for Solomon, he can't. He can afford anything on earth, but he just couldn't. Yeah. Number one. That's number two. If you go back to chapter 2, you shall find in chapter 2, what is the blessing in verse 24? That he shall enjoy good in his labor. he shall enjoy the good in his labor. Okay? You know that for you, I don't know about your future career goal, but labor probably is not one of your future dreams. Oh, I love to work myself to death. So I don't know. Nowadays people want 叫什么？钱多事少离家近啊，钱多a lot of money， 事少only little things to do, no responsibility 离家近very close to my house。好 ，so you know that nowadays people probably think that's a dream job. Pays a lot, pays good, but little responsibility and very close to your house. So you know, commute is not a problem. Convenient, easy. Okay. So nowadays people might think that's the dream job. Okay. But let me tell you, life without work sometimes get. One of my job, I have no responsibility. I mean, basically I just there. That's the second job after I graduate. That was my second job. I was 23, 24, and we have about 50 people in that company. Not a big company because we are owning a branch out, a subsidiary, owning a branch office. So in this branch office, we only have about 50 people. I was the only one under 50. Everyone else is like 50 to 70. So I was just like, is this a nursing home? I was the only one in the whole entire company. I was the only one under 50. At that time, I was 23, 24. I don't even know, even until today, I don't know why they hire me. And that they actually pay me pretty good. I have no responsibility. The boss, the boss of this branch office, he hired me as his assistant, personal assistant. But the problem is that he was never in the office, and I was never given any duty. So basically, I just sit in the office the whole day and wait for the time to go home, and they pay me. You know what I did the most? For that few months that I worked there, my main duty is to help the secretary office to take the 5-gallon bottle and put it upon the water machine because the girls cannot, not the girls, sorry, they are all 50 and above, the moms, that they cannot do that. Basically, that's my excitement of the day. Yeah, I was so bored. I was in the cubicle. I will have my own cubicle. I have nothing to do. At first, I thought, this is good. I get to play games in my... No, I just get so sick of it, so tired of it. I start, you know that at work, I read Bible. I even dig out my business law book about the thick. I was just like reading the book that I did not read when I was in college. I took the course, but I did not read the book, but I passed. So I did not read the book in college, but I was reading it at my job because I was so bored. We have two bells. We have in between the morning, lunchtime, and time to go home. Go home at 5. There's a bell because we have a warehouse in the back. So 5 o'clock, you hear a bell. About 2:30, 3 o'clock, there's a bell for break. Then the company prepares some snacks, desserts. There was once I was just so bored. I was way. I was like, oh, finally, time to go home. I pick up my bag. I walk out the door, and the boss happened to come in and said, he was like, oh, where you going? I was like, going home. He's like, he thought I was joking. I was like, no, I'm going home. And then the boss looked at the watch and said, now it's 3 o'clock. The bell that you heard is the break bell. I just went back to the cubicle. Let me tell you, when you have nothing, when you do not have this, Remember, labor is never negative in the book of Ecclesiastes because this produces value. Labor produces value. Okay. The only problem with labor is excessive. When you focus only upon this under the sun, and you overlook above the sun, then labor become problem. Okay? Labor was never a problem. Just like you should not study from Ecclesiastes and say that study is labor is useless. Solomon never said that. That's only an excuse you gave it to yourself. I have a young man that talked back to the parents. He said to the parents, the world is coming to an end. Anyway, why do I have to find a job? Why? Because he tend to stay in his own room, play video game whole day. And then the excuse is faith. The excuse is religion. The excuse is God. The world is coming to an end. What's the point of study? What is the point of finding a job? We call that irresponsible. Quote and unquote. No, I hold it back. Your generation is more frail, so I have to be very careful with the term I use. So you know what? I despise this kind of people. I actually despise people who using God or use their faith as an excuse for not doing what they should. You know what? Actually, in the Bible, you find people like that. And Apostle Peter rebuked these people. There were people always say, oh, the world is coming to an end. Jesus is coming again. Why bother working? So they go to different members' house and wait for member to feed them. Peter said, for this kind of people, kick them out. Don't feed them. They don't deserve it. So if you give that excuse for yourself, oh, come on, God is coming. Bible told us, second coming. Why study? That's a waste of time. Why get to work? That's a very carnal, secular. No. That only shows that you are a very lazy person. Not only in the eyes of the parents, not only in the eyes of the society, also in the eyes of God. God doesn't like lazy people. Okay? So, labor means you are producing value. Value for yourself, value for your family, and value for the society. So, in our life, if you are able to enjoy the fruit of your labor, you putting effort, like how you plant a tree, like how like you see, you plant a tree, eventually it bear fruit, it gives you a lot of happiness. Like for parents, we raise our children, we see them grow up godly. That's the happiness of our fruit. So labor is not a problem. You can enjoy the labor. In fact, labor is what brings satisfaction in life. And that labor including labor for your family, labor for the society, labor for yourself, career building, labor for the church. All those are included in the perspective of labor. There is nothing called labor in the world is secular. Labor for the church is spiritual. There is no such a saying. Labor in the world, you make money, you are able to live a decent life. You provide for your family. How is that secular? You raise your children with good environment, good opportunity, so that they grew up able to see the real world. What is secular about that? You earn money, you labor, you try your best, and then you offer tithe to support the church ministry. What is secular about that? When you find excuse of not study and not working, that only tells God that you are only a lazy man, a man filled with excuse of life. So, able to find meaning in labor under the sun. Yes, labor has meaning. It does bring you happiness. And if you continue, you go to chapter 3, verse 12. Chapter 3, verse 12. How do you find blessing, meaning under the sun? You have to remember, well, you know what, let's get back a little bit. If you go to, again, you can always make a contrast with chapter 6. Okay? If you look at, chapter 5, verse 17. Chapter 5, verse 17. And all this day, 16 and 17. 17. And all this day he ate in darkness, and he has much sorrow and sickness and anger. Okay? So, again, when we talk about enjoy the labor, enjoy the labor, you have to understand one thing. Just because you want doesn't mean that you get to. There are many people who want to work, but they cannot. Okay? If you have the chance in the future, when the church has opportunity, go visit the nursing home. There were many people who wish that they could work, but they might be paralyzed. You can make that you don't want labor, you want easy life. If you get paralyzed, if you become a vegetable, oh yeah, you get to lay on the bed whole day long. Yeah, is that the life that you want? Which one do you prefer? Be a vegetable and have people feed you. Spoon fed. Okay? Yeah, this is a life, the dream life. I don't need to even lift a finger because I can't. So you know what? Able to be healthy enough to labor, you should consider that as a blessing. It's better than those who wish to work but unable to get off the bed. Okay? So that's another thing. And if you go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, again in verse 12. Verse 12. Verse 12, I know that nothing is better for them than to rejoice and do good in their life, and that every man shall eat and drink and enjoy the good of his labor. It is the gift of God. So again, talking about the gift of God, He give you eat and drink. He give you good in his labor. He give you one more thing. In here you find one more thing. What is it? Do good. Able to show mercy. Willing to share. Being charitable. Showing some love. That itself is also a blessing from the Lord. Why? Very easy, the concept. Have you ever seen homeless on the street? Have you ever seen, you must have seen homeless on the street, right? Do you give? Like when you see homeless on the street, do you like, oh, you know what, maybe I should give them like 50 cents or $1? You don't. You heartless people. Or maybe you were like just, you just passing by, look at the homeless and, hey, that seems like a good career. And then you just sit right next to the person, take out a bowl. I don't know, sometimes they make good money. There are some of those professional beggars that they make in average like, about 100K per year. There was a news in Taiwan some time ago that there was a beggar, professional beggar in night market, 夜市, and then they took a video of how after he got up, he was like, I lost my leg and thing, like he was like tied, bound it, so that he was crawl on the floor pretending to be like only one leg, those kind of thing. And after that, they video film him, like a spy cam, like how he went to the back alley and untied himself, walking like a normal people, and drove a Mercedes away. Yeah, they were professional beggars. They make probably more than you will ever make in your life. Yeah, so we're not talking about those. I'm saying that if you want to give, be wise how you give, because a lot of faking the scammer now, a lot of scammer now. So be wise. So you know what? When you see poor people or beggars, those who are in dire need of your help, why the Bible say that doing good, giving to the poor and needy is a gift, is a blessing from the Lord? Very easy. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer to be the beggar, reaching out, reaching out, waiting for people to show some sympathy on you? Or you wish that you are the one passing by, having the ability to help? If you are able to give, means that you have extra, isn't it? If you do not have extra, then it will be very difficult for you to give. So, able to do good always mean what? Always mean you have extra. Always mean what? Always mean that you have enough. At least enough, if not extra. And that's blessing itself. So when you see someone in difficult situation, you shall give thanks to God that you are not in that kind of situation. Every time when you see someone in need, you shall give thanks to God that you are able to give, than waiting for someone to show mercy and pity on you. Okay, so that's why able to do good is a blessing. It means that God give you enough, if not extra, in your life. Okay, so that's another blessing in life. If we continue, because then it talk about eat and drink and enjoy the labor. Let's continue to look at another one. What is a blessing according to Solomon? If you go to chapter 5, chapter 5 verse 18. Here is what I have seen. It is good and fitting for one to eat and drink. Did you see that every time he mentioned blessing is always eat and drink? You might think that this is so fundamental. You might think, what's the big deal about it? Because right now you have no problem. You are young. You have a good metabolism. You can eat all you want without gaining weight, without worry about cholesterol, without worry about this and that. Okay? But Solomon tells you that at the end, life, when you are able to eat and drink, you should thank God, because not everybody can. Okay? A few years ago, when I was at TTP, I went to Germany and I ran into a church sister. During the Sabbath lunchtime, she was on her own. When we were eating, she was on her own at the corner. And she was eating her own stuff. She was eating bread, and she was drinking plain water. I was just curious. I was like, maybe she was on diet. I was just curious. Then later in our conversation, I learned that she was unable to eat anything else. She can't even eat meat. Only few kind of vegetables she can eat. Anything else trigger allergic reaction. I was like, are you born like this? She said no. She said it only happened after she gave birth to her daughter. She said she never had allergy ever in her life. She was all fine. She eat and drink whatever she wants, only until her daughter was born. Somehow it triggered something in the body. She become allergic to so many things. No rice, no meat. She said only certain kind of meat. Like it become very, very selective, and not all the vegetable. Only certain kind of vegetable. No nuts, no milk, no soy milk. So basically, she just drink water. So at that time, her daughter is about 12 years old. And she said, it has been like that for the past 12 years. I was just like, oh my goodness. How can you, from able to eat anything to become unable to eat anything? But now thank God that she just grabbed her daughter and have her daughter sit on her lap and hold her and say, and she just said, it's all worth it, it's all worth it. But you know, for us, it's very scary when one day when you wake up and realize that you can only eat bread and drink water, nothing else. It could happen. It could happen to anyone. You don't know. Okay? But anyway, so you keep on you seeing that in Solomon's eyes, eating and drinking, eating every time when you eat, when you drink, you need to give thanks. So when you say grace, when you say nowadays we say grace very casually, like 1 second. I ask you, what did you just say to God? Nothing. It become a habitual action. Habitual action. Not blaming you because I was like that. It become, especially for TJC grown up, we were, that's what we do. Like, it's a habit. You need to say grace, but you don't really pay attention in grace. Only until my first time, I got food poisoning in Africa. Food poisoning. It was so bad. I thought I was going to die in Africa. After that, every time, prayer before meal become very, very serious. Because you never know. In Africa, the problem is you never know how the food came out. You do not know. During the process, during the preparation process, what happened? You don't want to know. Okay? There was once we came for the meal. Oh, sesame rice. When you get close, wow, all the fly flew away. Not sesame rice. Yeah. So you know what? When we hold our bowl before we eat, we were like so sincere from the bottom of our heart. Lord, sanctify the food. Yeah, seriously. You don't feel that because in here, you don't need to worry about it. You don't think about it. But able to eat and drink itself is a blessing. Oh, we went over time. Let's all say a silent prayer.